Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. How you feeling? Got some great charts we're going to be breaking down today. Where is the price going for the crypto markets in November? Let's talk about it. Everybody get engaged. I see Crypto Pollo, Alexandra G, Crimson Caravan Company, Sawtooth Hiker, Red Elephant. We got the real OGs in the house right now. Shout out to everybody that is here. Sawtooth Hiker, how you feeling? Brad Guy Dell in the house. How you doing? Cluck, cluck, cluck. Crypto Pollo. Crypto Chicken. Good morning, Red Elephant. JS. How's everybody feeling today? Are you bullish or bearish? Do you think price is going to hold at this level? You guys are the OGs. Where do you think price is going to be this week on Sunday at the weekly close? Do you think we're going to push up? Think we're going to just chop sideways? Do you think we're going to Bart Simpson break back down? Let's get into it. That music is too low. Let's bring it up. Let's get these vibes going. Hope you all had a good weekend. I went out to the King Tut exhibition here in Atlanta. It was quite cool, I gotta tell you. Did you do anything this weekend? Let's do a little bit of roll call right now. Everybody's showing up here early. Throw those lab coats. Where are you tuned in from? Are you a bull? Are you a bear? Do you think we're just gonna sit still? Everybody get involved in the chat. Got Matt C in the house, Lloyd Gonzalez, Crypto Pollo, Cade Pulliam. Shout out to everybody that's here on a daily basis. We got such a wonderful community here. That's what this is all about, community, doing this together. Hope every one of you is happy and healthy. And if you're not, my love and prayers go out to you and your family, and let's get you there. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. Where are you at on this globe right now? What city, what state, what country? Let me know in the chat. Comment down below if you're watching later. Are you a bull or a bear this week? Do you think price is going to push up and break past that into the 36K range, maybe above? Do you think it's going to hit 40? Do you think we're going to kind of chop around where we're at, just flushing out liquidity, and then we can determine what direction it's going to go next week? Do you think that price is going to break back down and touch 32? Do you think it's going to break below 32? Let me know what you're thinking in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's here. Rafiq Gafour, Crimson, Brad, Matt C, Alexander G, Red Ella. We got everybody in the house. Big love to each and every one of you that are here on a daily basis. Without any further ado, let's dive into it. What do the charts say? Looking here on Into the Block, 79% of people, we can see right here, 79% of people are basically making money, meaning that they are in profit. They're holding their coins with a lower average entry. 18% are out of profit, meaning they're holding at a level where their buy price was higher than where the current price is. That could be some people that bought the recent pump above where we're at now. It also could be people that bought many months ago when we were above 35K. I mean, that was quite a while ago. If we pull it up on the chart, where would that be? Where would that be? So right here, this means somebody, if they're holding for a long period of time, let's go to the daily actually. This would go all the way back to essentially May 2022, anytime before that. If anybody held, let me know in the chat. Are you somebody that entered the market or entered your position somewhere over here and you're holding strong through all of this noise? Shout out to you if you are. If you're somebody if you bought here, anywhere previous to here, when price was above where we're currently at and you've held through all of this, you're going to make it. If you're able to not capitulate through all this and then get out right when we, don't hold through all this and then take profits, actually exit. That would be an exit right when you get back to the price point at which you entered, especially considering where we're at. Let's actually come over here, especially considering where we're at on the halving cycles. We have the halvings coming up very soon. Where is it at right here? Yeah, the halvings coming up very soon. This is projected to be roughly about the middle of April, the week of April 15th, probably somewhere in that range. And we could see correlation of previous cycles, past cycles from the halving prior to where we're at. For instance, this is where we're at right now. We're seeing from a halving what price action has done each time. We see that the highs have lined up. We see that the lows have lined up. And we're kind of splitting that difference right now coming into this next halving. So why would you buy here and let price come back up into that and exit when we are so close to the next strong up trend? And I don't just mean the trend that we've had currently. I'm not talking about, let's actually turn off all the indicators. I'm not talking about, it's not like this was inconsequential. This is a pretty strong move to the upside. But you know what's stronger? This type of move post-halving. If we go to another chart, we can look at this on Bitstamp right here. We can see this is that pre-halving pump, but look what Eclipse is at by a long shot, exponentially. We see that this post-halving push is what everybody's really waiting on. So I just want to say, everybody, if you are wondering what's going on in the market, if you're feeling stressed, if you're like, oh, do I need to get out before it comes back down? I would argue that you need to understand what your strategy is. I can't tell you what to do, but if you are trading this market, it's very likely that this will push up and come back down a little bit. So I'm not trading predominantly. I'm not doing a lot of exits on assets right now. I'm looking for entries. So if this does push up and pull back, then I'm looking for another entry. I'm not going to take profit up here and then get back in right here. Now, it's not to say that that's a bad strategy. It has to do with what your experience level is and if you're able to do it effectively. I would argue that the majority of people should not be trading on, the 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute, trying to accumulate more Bitcoin unless you have a strategy that works. Most of you are going to be trading out of capital and be in a worse position in terms of how much you're holding going into this next, whether this comes up right here and he sells off in here, but this next move that really, really starts to get those juices flowing. The real God candles. This was great, but I want to see that sustained uptrend. Now, it's important to note that there's been a surge in $100,000 plus transactions on Bitcoin. Now, DZ and I were talking about this morning. This can be a little bit conflated. This can be a little bit misrepresented because as the value of this asset goes up, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's more transactions. If you see this measured in US dollar, for instance, if somebody was trading 3 Bitcoin 6 months ago, then that would be a lower US dollar valuation. Now, you could be trading, let's say 5 Bitcoin, 6 or 8 months ago would have been a certain dollar valuation, but whereas now you can do 3 or 4 Bitcoin, so you're actually trading less Bitcoin and having a higher dollar valuation. But this does indicate it's not like prices really moved. I mean, it's 30% up in the last week or so. However, the point here is that there are indications on chain that are showing that large wallets, people with 100,000 or more, that is pretty substantial. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's not even a speck of sand compared to global markets. These 100,000 wallets, but when $100,000 plus wallets. But when we're considering a new asset class like Bitcoin on the horizon of having all these institutional involvement coming in, and spot ETFs, all these things that are right now on the horizon coming into Bitcoin, we need to pay attention to what the whales are doing. So Bitcoin's on-chain activity signal the active participants of whales and influential investors as the cryptocurrency price surged beyond 35,000. Recent data from the blockchain analytics firm Into the Block reveals that the number of transactions involving movements of at least $100,000 or more worth of Bitcoin reached a year-to-date peak of 23,400. So over the course of 2023, we're having the highest number of large Bitcoin transactions that's happened so far this year. So this is good. There's some activity going on. Since last week, Bitcoin's price reached 35,000, making it the highest level since May 2022. Although the cryptocurrency has been trading sideways, hovering around 34 to 35,000, it boasts 107% growth year to date. That's that October we were talking about. So the question everybody has right now, what's in store for November? Well, let's take a look. One of the core things that I want to really pay attention to here is one, have you smashed that like button? Have you hit that subscribe button? Have you dinged the bell? If you haven't, do it right now. But jumping right back in here onto the charts, I want to look at this metric right here. Where are we at? Global liquidity. This is one of the most important things that we could be paying attention to right now, and that is global liquidity. We're coming into the most important part of the season for capital flow in the markets, because this is, especially in the US and the Western world, holiday season. We're coming in not only to the holiday season for the US and Europe, but we also have New Year's, which everybody celebrates, whether it's the traditional Gregorian calendar New Year or the Chinese New Year, which is a month and a half later. But we have an election cycle coming up. We're coming into that year. We've got global liquidity has been basically on a decline through this Bitcoin push to the upside, which is incredible. Excuse me. So Bitcoin has been able to push up while liquidity has been on a descending trend, meaning global liquidity has been coming out. There's been quantitative tightening across the board globally. But what do we see here? If we're looking at this like a chart that we're going to trade, we see this starting to round out. What's the last time we happened here? Round out. And then increase in global liquidity, increase in price. We see this rounding out. And then each time this is rounded out has marked the start of a very strong uptrend. So global liquidity, as well as Bitcoin price, as well as the halving, as well as the Bitcoin spot ETFs all on the horizon, as well as BlackRock singing praises about how good Bitcoin is, signaling to everybody that's been on the fence about it, or even resistance, showing resistance to Bitcoin because they don't understand it. Everything is lining up for probably one of the best Bitcoin bull cycles we've ever had. Now, will it be, a 12,000% gain like we've seen in the past back over here? Probably not. Could happen. But what is more likely and what's more impactful is the fact that it takes so much more monetary energy now to push price higher because the market cap's larger, there's more people involved, and there's more coins available. So when you're looking at price predictions about where price can go, you want to take into account the inflation since last cycle. How many more Bitcoin or how many more Solana or how many more Cardano, etc.? What's the total supply now comparatively than it was before? We have a larger market cap and we have more coins. Now we are having a reduction in this new supply because of the halving. But the incredible thing is how pervasive Bitcoin has become onto every government discussion, it seems like, into, and we have idiots, absolute idiots out there still. Let me actually pull this up. I wasn't planning on it. Let me actually go over here, come over to Twitter. Crypto Sam at Crypto Wendy. Actually, I think Sam Price, Crypto Lifer, retweeted this, which is how I saw it. But we have these idiots. Where's it at? This guy, if you have not watched this tweet, I don't know if you can hear it. Let me turn on my computer chart screen share.
It seems that they used crypto because it's
Here we go.
Just trying to drill down. It's like, of course, it seems that they used crypto because it's really difficult or impossible to trace. So the bug is the feature, it seems, to me. And if you are able to remove that ability to be anonymous, would crypto even endure? Because to me, it seems like whether you're financing terrorism or purchasing illicit drugs, on the dark web or other kinds of illegal things, no one's doing that, using, Apple Pay or whatever. They're using crypto. So really, is the one major reason why crypto exists is to finance things that are either illegal or they wouldn't want to be attached to that kind of a thing. Is that a fair question?
Stupidest person in government, and anybody that has this sort of consideration, throw one in chat if you could hear that. It's just the fact of the matter is every single thing that is done on the blockchain, especially on Bitcoin, is every transaction that's ever happened is on that blockchain. Every block has every transaction in it that's attached to the chain of the previous blocks. And then the next block is attached. Everything in history is on every crypto mining rig out there. It's on the blockchain. This idea that it's used because these people are absolute idiots. But people are getting smarter. It's becoming a part of the conversation, as I said, in every government around the world, especially the US dollar not doing as well as it was before. Bitcoin is the answer. US dollar is it's not trending up, it's trending down. Now, what does that mean for Bitcoin coming into November? Well, what do we have this week? We have something very important happening this week. We have the FOMC meeting. Let me actually pull that up. Forex factory calendar. So looking right here, we can see Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, USD, this is for the US. We see that we have the FOMC meeting, which is Tuesday and Wednesday, and then the determination of whether or not they're going to hike interest rates, pause, or reduce. Now, there are a few people that think there's going to be a reduction. But what's interesting, when I pulled up the CME FedWatch tool right here, look at this. I don't think I've seen this yet this year or in the last 2 years, really. We have this 98.2% are suggesting a pause. In the past, we saw this bar over here because we saw basically people were betting, the minds were considering, the analysis was whether or not there's going to be a pause or a hike. Now, the only two things that are showing are a reduction or a pause. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Do you think there's an off chance that we could get a hike? Do you think the banks are in too precarious of a situation to be able to endure a hike? Do you think it's going to be a pause like 98.2%? Or do you think there's going to be a reduction? All things being equal, and they're not. There's a lot on the table right now to consider what's going on with inflation. We're basically getting sucked into another war that the U.S. probably had some part in orchestrating as well. That's going to affect prices. That's going to affect the economy. We've seen, if we come back over here to this, let's go down to traditional markets, trad markets, baby. I mean, look at crude oil. Look at this coming into a pretty substantial symmetrical triangle, but we can also draw this like this. Is it going to be a downward channel? What's going to happen with crude oil? We see NASDAQ not looking too hot, but it is in a falling wedge. Are we going to hold here and push back up, break back up? Is this going to break further down? We see S&P 500, the S&P 500 ETF showing new lows. We got Dow Jones, new lows. There's pressures on this market. There's pressures on banks. Banks are setting up to really show the weakness of what's happening across the board because of all these interest rates. So it's important to see what happens on the FOMC meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday. And remember, for me, it's kind of a no trade situation because everything hinges. There's going to be volatility around these things that's coming into the FOMC meeting, but there's also the meeting and then the press conference that's going to clarify the tone looking forward. Now, where are we at today on Bitcoin? Let's go ahead. Let's not go on this chart. Let's go on this chart. BitGet. All right. We're still hovering right in that zone. Parallel channel here. We have this diagonal level of resistance at previous support, and we're riding right on this. We got a giant bull flag that we are, currently breaking out of. Now, will this be a bull flag, or will this end up being a chop into here and maybe a test up into the 36 to 37 sort of zone, liquidity grab, bull trap, come back down, bounce, reject, come down and test one of these levels here? $32,000. Or will we fall through that and come all the way back down into this zone? Well, as it stands right now, we come back out. Let's, I'm actually going to delete those two lines. Let's actually keep this line here, option J. Now let's go out to the weekly. Let's get some alpha from the larger time frame coming into the smaller time frames. Well, we see that the stochastics are still angled up, but the RSI is starting to roll over here. But we're seeing a little bit of neutral on the dashboard here on the BitLab Trend Fuel, part of the BitLab trading stack. Bullish, bullish, neutral, neutral, bearish, bearish. So we're seeing mixed signals there. We got a little blip of positive money flow, meaning money coming into the market, coming into the asset this week. But it's negligible at this point. We want to see how this progresses. Let's go down to the 3-day. So 3-day stochastics held quite high. RSI is starting to flip. It's going flat here, but it's up here in the 90% range. I'm looking over here at the percentages on the right. 90, 91%. We're getting a lot of buying pressure here on the day on the 3-day. We see these green candles. We also see, look at this, buying candle here. A lot of buying volume, which is why this is teal. Got a little bit of an indication we may roll over, but it didn't quite happen. We're getting a lot of buying pressure again. Will this sustain, or will it be a liquidity grab? Well, one important thing to note, look at this is a sharp decline in volume right here. Are we setting up for a push up or a breakdown? Well, let's get a little bit more clarity. Let's break it down to the daily. Look at this volume just falling off a cliff. Not only is the volume falling off a cliff, we also see that we got the stochastics starting to come down. This got overheated up here at the 98%. This is on the daily. We have the momentum buying, a lot of buying pressure into this, but we got the triangle right here, which means it's starting to roll over back down. Now this is looking a little more bearish. Neutral, bearish, neutral, neutral, bearish, bearish. So what? Let's get a little bit more clarity yet. I think it's likely here, although we're seeing this bearishness, I think that there's a lot of hunger in the market right now with people wanting to front run what's happening with the spot ETFs. But the question here is, you got to ask yourself, if everybody is aware of the potential Bitcoin spot ETFs, what would be max pain? Would max pain be price action pushing higher and leaving people behind? That could be the case. Or will it be everybody thinks this is going up, let's get them committed to go long, to go up, to drop this, high open interest in leverage trades and high open interest in all these different things. Committed to going long, only to have the price then reversed and come back down, crushing those spirits, crushing those hopes, giving institutions, giving all these different people that have all these different organizations that have all these Bitcoin spot ETF applications out, giving them a better opportunity at lower prices. I think both are possible, so we need to pay attention here. So because of that, I do think either way, whether it does end up going down or breaking through, either way, I do think this is going to attempt this area, maybe even test this line again. We're currently is at 35.4, 35.5, this sort of region, up into here, below this line. Now, what is this line? This line is where, let's see, a lot of interaction here. We had a bounce here. It's an intersection that comes across there. I'm actually going to move this. I'll move this right in there because this rejects here, bounce, interaction, bounce. From this point, we broke down. So this is up at the 36.7. Are we going to work our way up to that zone only to reverse? Because remember, when we're looking at all these charts in previous cycles, come down to where's having cycle. Scroll down, we can see how these line up, but we can also, here we go. This is the one I wanted to show. This is where the halving is. We have all this interaction. You see this choppiness on this first halving cycle here. Price action pushed up, sold off, consolidated sideways, pushed up again, sold off into the halving. Buy the rumor, sell the news. Now the halving isn't a rumor, but there's always going to be speculation as new people come in and they fall victim to being basically not having a strategy. So we see the price is exactly where it should be right now as it relates to where the halving is. We could even have another deviation to the upside only to sell off into this. Now the question is, do you believe that we're going to have something different this cycle where we push up and don't look back, don't get the sell off into the halving? Now looking at the chart, again, we're here on the daily. This is really looking like it's trying to work its way up. And one thing I do want to mention here on the momentum waves, we see that this upward trajectory, these white waves, higher, higher. I do think that we are due for a little bit of a pullback at some point, but it's looking very questionable at the moment if we're going to get that. So we see here on the 8-hour, stochastics came down, fully reset, and are pushing back up. Look at this, the RSI, this purple line that you can barely see in here. Let me make this a little bit brighter. Money flow style. This is keeping above the 50 line is right here, option J. So that's the 50 line right there. RSI is trying to bounce here. So let's get down on the 4-hour. We're going to look at just the signals, and then we'll look at the actual price. Come on. Okay. Same thing. This tried to push down below the 50 line, and it worked its way back up, and now has bounced on it twice. Money flow still positive on the 4-hour. It's come down a little bit, but it's just chopping in the zone. Now the question is going to be right here. Does this roll over? Does this roll over right here onto this momentum wave? In which case, we're going to have a pretty strong bearish divergence as opposed to what's happening here if this does try to push higher. There's weakness here with underlying strength. So that's the confusing part about what's happening right here, because we're at a key level that we very well could reject from. So will this push higher? Remember, I just want to caution you on this bull flag, option T, on this bull flag right here, if you measure this out, a lot of people are going to get trapped into this thinking that this is going to break out and go straight up here to $40,000 to $41,000. It's very possible that it could happen, but we've got a lot of key levels that we need to pay attention to in order for the price action to get up there. I don't particularly think it's going to get all the way up to $41,000. I think a move to the upside is going to be a liquidity grab and will likely get rejected back down. If we come down to the 1 hour, where are we going the rest of the day? We're sitting right on. We're flirting with breaking out, but we just can't quite get there. We just can't quite get there. If we do break 34.8, no, it's a little bit higher. We do break 34.8, 34.9, this zone right here, which is the range high of these candle bodies. I do think that we're going to test up here to 35.4. The question's going to be, are there going to be more people committed long or committed short? Let's go over to CoinGlass, coinglass.com. Oops. Let's look at open interest, actually funding rate. Let's see. So we have a positive funding rate, which means there's more people going long, which is pretty impressive that we're at a level that a lot of people are going long, but that also means that those people can get wrecked and those could get closed and we could get a little bit of a long squeeze and basically push it back to the downside. Now, open interest, let's see where we're at here. So we're getting a little bit of an increase, on the open interest. Let's see, 400 Bitcoin. Yeah, $15 billion in open interest right now. Whew. So people want this to go, but I'm not a bear. I just feel like this is going to be a liquidity grab if it gets up here into this $36,000 range and will likely be pulled back down if it doesn't have the volume to come in to move it. Because remember, we still have quite a gap of time between now and when the halving is. And that halving, if we look, where's the halving cycle? Having progress. This is what I'm looking for. This is that gap I'm talking about. We still have institutions and big money. They're going to be a little bit hesitant to really put their weight behind the move until we really get to this halving date. Now, the question here is going to be, the people that are truly going to make it are going to, we understand that there tends to be a sell-off into the halving. This is why I'm saying they may be hesitant to commit now, because there may be an opportunity for lower prices or current prices, and they don't want to chase the price going up. So is there going to be a move to the downside? This is why I think that if this does push up, there's going to be a great opportunity for liquidity, a liquidity event for this price action to get reversed and come back down and take advantage of the prices somewhere in this $32,000 to $33,000 region. Now, will we get those lower prices, which means coming back down to this 26,000? The likelihood is getting less and less the closer we get to that halving. So we just want to take care and make sure that we are looking at this with a conservative viewpoint right now. Now, coming back over here to looking at Ethereum, we're coming right up into this zone. Look at this. We broke it again, found support, but can we make that move? Stochastics are getting high. We're getting a little bit of a bearish divergence here. We see option V, where these two levels are. Prices lower, prices higher, stochastics higher, stochastics rolling over lower. There's some weakness coming in to the market right now. If we come over here and we look at, let's go to save, let's go to totals. Looking here, we got the dominance is still pushing higher. We're pushing up into a known zone though, this 55%. Will this be the moment when if we reject somewhere in here that altcoins really start to run? Because we see the total market cap right here for alts is pushing higher as Bitcoin dominance is stalling. And this is the interesting chart right here, the total market cap. I brought this up the other day. Rising level of support, flat level of resistance. Are we going to break through this and start to run? I do think there's a strong likelihood this is going to come back somewhere about midway, finding support here and then coming back up. But as it stands right now, I think the time is caution. If you're not already in a move, trading this, I would be make sure no matter what you do, you're practicing healthy risk management, because I think there's going to be traps aplenty in both directions. So stick to your plan. And by the way, everybody get involved in the Discord after the Discover Crypto show. I'm going to go on there and do some TA. But today around noon, I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be doing this regularly throughout the week, not every day, but 2 or 3, 4 times a week, as many times as possible. Live streams, much like this, where we're breaking down altcoins, we're breaking down on-chain signals, we're breaking down all the things for the members in the Discord. I'll be posting an event in there here in a few minutes, and I will see you in the Discord is where I'm doing the live stream. And so everybody get involved there, and where you go, the link is down in the description. Where the heck is, here we go. And that's over here on the BitLab Discord. Come and join us here. There's all kind of different content in here, but if you look up here at the top, I will be putting do it right now. Create event, stage channel, next. Come in here today, 12 p.m. Live stream here in Discord for members only. Breaking down TA and charts on request. Boom. Today, boom. Come in there and get involved, get interested, and we will see you on the Discord, in the Discord at 12 o'clock. I love you guys. I got to go. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. Adios, muchachos. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in.